Hey guys, I am here with Miss Sarah Perez from Heights AC and Heating. How are you doing, Sarah?
Doing good today. How are you?
Good, good. So you live here in the Heights, which we're at, and are you originally from Houston?
I'm actually from Beaumont.
Okay.
And I moved here about 10 years ago.
Awesome. What brought you over here?
It's Houston. That's where everybody wants to be.
Fair. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you work or you co-own Heights AC and Heating, which is, when you think AC and heating, you mainly think of a man having his own AC and heating company.
Correct.
And you own it with your husband, Thomas.
I do.
And, what made you want to get into AC and heating?
So Thomas has a really good passion for it, and I kind of fed off that when I started working with him and helping him out, just for the reason of helping him to get him home sooner, because in the summer those can be some late nights.
Yeah.
And I started getting more interested in it, asking more questions. Well, what can I go do while you're doing this other piece of the project or whatnot? And went from there, started studying it. Worked 4 or 5 years with him before I studied for my license, and then I also schedule, run, do calls, take care of people, do installs, do it all.
That's awesome. So you're actually licensed.
I am.
That's
am,
incredible.
As far as I know, the only female licensed air conditioning and heating contractor and real estate agent in Texas.
That's wonderful. That's really cool. So what happens whenever someone, say, has a call, calls you up, and they have a problem with their AC unit or something like that, and they get a ring on their door, they open it, and it's you standing there? I mean, do you get looks?
I get some surprising looks. I'm always kind of ready for it, but a lot of the time when it's a woman that opens the door, they're very surprised and happy to see, and I get a lot of "you go girls," which is kind of nice. When it's guys, it can go either way. It's a "wow, I wasn't expecting you. I should have called 3 days ago,"
Yeah.
or I get a "where's the guy behind you to help you?"
Yeah.
So it just depends. It also depends on the scope of the job. So sometimes I walk in with 3 people, sometimes it's just me, sometimes it's me and Thomas.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So have you had any, and you kind of mentioned it, saying, "Oh, where's the guy behind you?" or something like that. Have you had any road bumps or, any pitfalls or anything being a woman owner of a business?
It does get a little frustrating a lot sometimes to
Yeah.
deal with when I answer the phone especially, and I get, yeah, can I speak to the guy that owns the place?
Yeah, I
Or
guess.
to the man. The man
Yeah.
is called out a lot. So.
Yeah, and I mean, what do you do? I mean, do you just kind of take a deep breath and just kind of woo-saw it and then just keep going, or I mean?
I do, and I also like to mention that I'm part of the Women in HVAC, or Women in HVACR for refrigeration, a nationwide group of women that are trying to get more women into the field, because it is a good field for anyone.
Yeah.
As long as you're able-bodied, able to keep up with extreme temperature swings and the weight we carry, it's a great field.
That's awesome. And then being in Houston, the temperature does fluctuate quite a bit, within 20 degrees sometimes. So do you guys stay pretty busy, like during the summer, or what's the busiest time of year?
Definitely. So I like to call our unofficial summer kickoff spring break. Spring break is typically when, the kids are at home. People may not realize, because they're at work all day, that the AC is not keeping up during the hottest part of the day until their kids call and say, "Hey, it's hot in here. We need to, call somebody out. I've got kids in the house," or teenagers or what have you. That stays pretty much April to October is our summer within that field. And then of course you get the hurricanes that throw things off, and that just kind of changes our game a bit.
That's awesome. And I must say, out of experience, you work on my house quite a bit, and it's crazy how, if you have an animal or a child, how fast you guys come out there.
Definitely. I take those into priority automatically, and I have no problem calling my whole call sheet. Maybe in the summer that could be 30 calls, 40 calls a day, appointments that are already made, and I will let them know, "Hey, do you mind if I move you down to 4 o'clock, because I've got a lady with a 2-year-old in the house, or a newborn baby. It never fails. It's a couple-day-old baby," which is why we're glad you have new systems now before you have yours. So
Yeah.
definitely priorities for pets as well. And if I get to the house and find out after the fact, which happens every now and then, that there was a baby or a pet or an elderly person in the home, I let them know, "Hey, next time this happens, or if it does again, or your friends, tell me, hey, I got this situation going on at my home, and I'll do my best." All of my company has no problem trying to flip-flop things around.
That's awesome. And then I do ask this question to every woman that I've interviewed. What advice, or what would you tell a young woman in Houston, or really wherever? What advice would you give to a young woman that's wanting to be an entrepreneur, or wanting to get into the well, geez, real estate or the heights AC or heating, what advice would you give them?
Definitely stick to your guns. Don't let anyone intimidate you or push you around. If you have a passion for it, if you have the drive to do it, you can do anything. That you really can. It's just a matter of how hard you want to keep pushing through and really just proving to yourself. Forget trying to prove it to everybody else. If you make yourself happy, you'll be set.
That's awesomely said. That's awesomely said. Well, Sarah, thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk with me a little bit. And Sarah Perez, her information will be below. So if you have any AC or heating needs, please check out Heist AC and Heating with Sarah Perez. Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And of course, happy National Women's Month.